Forget the internet, forget the Large Hadron Collider, hell, even forget the reusable Dragon spacecraft from Elon Musk's SpaceX. The tap is truly the greatest invention of civilization, isn't it? Alright, that's perhaps a very weighty hyperbole, but what a time to be alive! On command water. We kind of take it for granted though, don't we? For those of us that are fortunate enough to live in a house with free-flowing tap water, the magical properties of being able to saunter over to the kitchen, flip a handle and instantly have a glass of ice-cold water is something that we should all be appreciative of. But have you ever asked yourself the question, what am I actually drinking? Well, let's find out. Hello internet, and once again welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch, as today we curiously ask the question, what is actually in our tap water? Roll the clip.
Sorry, can we have 4 of those and a tap water, please?
What? For the curious amongst you, that clip was from 2013's The World's End, written and directed by Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, because, well, if I'm being frank with you all, it's pretty difficult to find any kind of tap water based cinematic content. I mean, it was either that or this.
Can I have a glass of water?
What's wrong with the water next to your bed?
It tastes old.
Yeah, you can see what I'm dealing with, right? Anyway, that's beside the point. Tap water. What's in it? Well, what better way to find out than with an incredibly brief history of everyone's favourite subject, sanitation. And who do we have to thank for that? Well, you might think the Romans, of course, because what have the Romans ever done for us? Everything. But no. Although partly correct, you'd be slightly mistaken, because the history of sanitation can be traced all the way back to the Indus Valley Civilization, an ancient society that successfully cultivated vast areas of South Asia between 3300 BCE and 1300 BCE. After that, everyone pretty much got the message that it was important to have clean, excrement-free running water, and evidence of sanitation-based means have been found in ancient China, ancient Greece, Mesopotamia, Persia. Yeah, you get the picture. Pretty much everywhere. Humanity quickly discovered, for the most part, that if there's any kind of creepy nastiness floating around in your wooden drinking bowl, you're going to get really, really sick. And that isn't good. Stay safe, everybody. It wasn't until 1775 that the whole tap water phenomena kicked off, though, with none other than the flushing toilet. And a Scottish watchmaker, a man named Alexander Cummings, had the incredible idea of creating the S-pipe, a curved facet of a pipe that could retain water permanently, preventing sewer gases from entering the home, which would eventually lead to Thomas Crapper's U-shaped trap and his revolutionary toilet of 1880. It was based upon a previous notion, though, an idea that forms the second basis of why we can have poo-free water. And it was proliferated by none other than Sir Francis Bacon way back in 1671, who noticed that if he dug a hole close to the seashore, the water would be purified by layers and layers of sand. Eventually, this gave rise to the first ever municipal water purifying plant in the world, built in the small town of Paisley, Scotland, way back in 1804, that used layers of gravel filters and concentric sand to treat readily available water. After that, in 1827, a man named Robert Thom invented slow sand filters after condensing the method into a more readily available form. And 2 years later, in 1829, James Simpson took that idea and developed a system that was pretty much used around the world. It struck a chord with us humans, though, and civilization quickly realized that as our towns became vast cities interconnected with infrastructure and municipal means, it was very important to the success of society to make sure everybody had safe and clean water to drink. In the 19th century, after officials of the City of London noticed that cholera deaths had decreased after the same water treatment systems had been installed, they passed the Metropolitan Water Act of 1852, ensuring that all water supplied to the city would be filtered, safe and sound. And here we are now. Pretty much, anyway, as the vast majority of modern society has gone to great lengths in filtering out the nastiness of chewy water. But what were they exactly so scared of? Well, you may be expecting this particular LBQ to scare you away with some sweeping statement that there's strange juju in the water that's making us all want to buy more Apple products or turn into zombies at the flick of a governmental switch. But no. It's simple, really. The main objective of clean tap water is to make sure that there's no poo in it. But beside that, it's a pretty simple set of ingredients. Liquefied chlorine, fluorosilicic acid, aluminium sulfate, calcium hydroxide, and sodium silicofluoride. A relatively safe set of chemicals that make sure there's nothing nasty swimming around in your tap water at the point of treatment. But after it leaves that treatment point, that's where things get a little complicated. Because the real answer to this question is, it kind of depends where you live. Take London, for example, where the vast majority of the city's plumbing are still remnants of the Victorian era. It goes without saying, but rushing water through the same kind of pipe has a habit of eventually leaving behind trace salts. These may include small amounts of arsenic, radium, aluminium, copper, lead, mercury, cadmium, barium, as well as trace amounts of hormones, nitrates, and pesticides from soil. For the most part, such a small amount of trace elements have no adverse effect, and the City of London, as well as the rest of the UK, are going to great lengths in revamping their dated plumbing system. The burden of trust lies within the municipal responsibility of society, and in some cases, that trust can be overwhelmingly neglected. Take the city of Flint, Michigan, for example, an extraordinary case of official oversight that began in April 2014 and is still going on to this day. The crisis began after the city decided to change their water source from Lake Huron and the Detroit River to the cheaper option, the Flint River, and due to insufficient water treatment, contaminants leached into the pipes, exposing over 100,000 residents to high levels of lead, all for the sake of saving a few dollars. Since 2014, the residents of Flint have had to rely on bottled water to get by in their day-to-day lives, and the crisis has tragically led to the deaths of 12 people from an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. In 2017, some city officials claimed that the water quality of Flint had returned to acceptable levels. Not true, and a gross oversight, as the residents of Flint are still going to great lengths in exposing the dangerous water supply of the city. The truth of the matter is, we take our tap water for granted, and the historical efforts of some of civilization's greatest inventors have strived to give every member of society access to safe, clean, running water. Technology in water treatment can only take us so far though, and our responsibility as members of society is to ensure that the crisis of Flint, Michigan doesn't become a common occurrence. The solution is there, it has been for thousands of years. Civilization has advanced by providing safe access to water through innovative means, but the main point of concern is to make sure that same technology is working for everyone and not just those in power. It's our responsibility to make sure that things are a little bit less somebody's poisoned the water hole and a little bit more to infinity and beyond. Hey, look at that. A Toy Story reference. Well, there we have it, folks, our roundabout answer to what's actually in our tap water. Quite a few things, but most of them are good. What are your thoughts on the matter? Speak your mind freely in the comment section down below. Before we depart though, let's take a quick look at some of your more resounding remarks from over the past few days. Yo Human Frisk says, Jack Finch, somebody or some society has more something than you can shake a stick at. Ah, no, Human Frisk, you found my golden ratio. How did you figure out my formula for the perfect LBQ video? I'm gonna have to change the whole shaking stick shtick up, aren't I? Oh well. Another one bites the dust. Well, on that slightly depressing note, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Just stick around all the way until the end. If you're a fan of this particular video, or just LBQ in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe button. We'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.